I have a great pleasure. Good afternoon first, and tervetuloa in Finnish means welcome. And I cordially welcome Professor Marjaana Kangas from University of Lapland, and she's Playfulness ambassador. And she was invited by the University of Łódź in order to speak about playfulness. Today is another event, and we are very, very grateful that this is possible here at Center for Science and Culture in Łódź. So I welcome all audience. I'm cordially welcoming all these persons who are interested in climate change and in playfulness at the same time. So the floor is yours, and after 15 minutes of lecture, we will have some discussion with Professor Kangas, and then perhaps some audience questions. So we will have 3 parts in this event. Welcome, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. And thank you for inviting me here. It's very nice to be here. And I'm Marjaana Kangas, as you mentioned. I come from University of Lapland, and my background is in education.
And she spent a lot of time in California as well, collaborating with Stanford University. So she's well-known ambassador of playfulness.
A little bit, yes. But I think that they know that I'm ambassador of playfulness nowadays, more and more. And I hold adjunct professorship in University of Jyväskylä, and it's about playful and game-based learning. But today I will talk about what is life in the Arctic and in Lapland, where I'm living in and working, and especially from the viewpoint of playful mindset, even though the climate change is a very serious thing. But my academic background is mainly based on research on learning and innovative learning environments in different fields in education. And for example, I've been interested in questions like how to integrate play and learning with physical and outdoor activities, or how to promote playful learning, playfulness, and new literacies or new media literacies. So I'm also very interested in how to use technology in learning and how to develop and research technology-based environments. And finally, I'm also been interested how to promote sustainability skills through playful learning in early childhood education, but also in higher education and adult education. Here you can see the map from Finland, and our university locates there, University of Lapland. It locates right on the Arctic Circle. And here is our university, and then you can see my hometown, Levi. That is a little bit northern, there where is the heart. In fact, it's a ski resort, the biggest ski resort in Finland. And I have used to work remotely a lot. I teach our student teachers, and I do research in my work. Then you can see those pictures that we Finnish, we love to be outdoors, and we are very excited in hiking, and we go around the fireplace and so on. How many of you have been in Lapland previously? Okay, 2 of you. Then we have a lot of reindeers. Maybe have you seen reindeers? I think that almost 200,000 of reindeers. But maybe you have heard that we only have one Santa Claus living in Rovaniemi on the Arctic Circle. And we really are in the Arctic, as you can see here. Finland is there. And it's a specific place when we think about Arctic issues and these climate change issues. We really have 4 seasons. All of those pictures can illustrate our seasons. There is autumn, winter, and very light springtime, and then the summertime. And I love all of those seasons, and that's why I love to live in Lapland. And what is the best, what I think when I'm living in Lapland, that we have two very different seasons. In summertime, the sun is shining around the clock, so it doesn't rise at all. And so we have midnight sun in June, for example. This is in midnight sun. And as an opposite, we have midday, or we don't have midday sun at all in December or in January. And we say that this period of time is said kaamos, that we cannot see any sun during this time. This picture is from Levi, from my hometown, where is a lot of fells. We don't have any mountains in Finland, but we have fells there. And this is beside the lake, Kemijärvi, where we have our summer cottage, and we are there a lot in summertime. And this is traditional summer sauna, you can see. There inside is sauna, and every midnight sun fest we go to sauna. But what becomes to research, we have a lot of evidence what kind of benefits nature can have for our well-being and of course learning and being, and these pictures maybe tell something what I do when I am in nature and relaxing, even though I'm a hard worker as a researcher, but when I go outdoors, these pictures depict of those moments. But I have also done research dealing with nature and learning in nature, and this is one picture from a hiking course, and in this I was interested what is the role of students' agency and how a hiking trip can promote their competencies, especially their resilience and sisu, what we will later talk about. But we also have a lot of tourists in Lapland, nowadays more and more, and these pictures are from our capital of Lapland, that is Rovaniemi, city of Rovaniemi, and this is in summertime and wintertime, and many times when tourists come to Lapland, they don't understand that, for example, that it's possible to walk on the river or on the lake because it's ice covered and frozen, and very exciting, of course. But what becomes to sustainability competencies, I see that this is something that is very important when we think about education, but not also tourism and development of tourism, and how we can develop it as a sustainable way. So I see that also tourists can be learners when they come to Lapland. European Commission has developed a Green Comp framework, and for example in that they say that the goal is to foster a sustainability mindset of learners. And as I mentioned, I see that all students are learners, but also tourists are learners, and we need to educate them toward sustainability things. And we all know that especially vulnerable areas is in Arctic. So tourism in Lapland has been increased at the same time when we have this climate crisis, and we need to think about what can we do there. And here these pictures, this is from Rovaniemi, and there is the Santa Claus village, and it's I don't know how many, but a lot of tourists who come, for example, in December, in Christmas time, from Britain and around Europe. And I think that it's not so good if they come only for one day. That if you come here or there, it should be a couple of days and you could enjoy the nature and everything during the stay. And there you can see Northern Lights, and I think that it's one reason why people around the world want to come to Finland. So, as Green framework emphasized that we need a kind of mindset, future-oriented mindset, but I also see that we need a kind of optimistic future. Envisioning requires a playful mindset. So I think that we need also playful mindset for solving many different problems for the future. And one good example comes from Salla and their campaign dealing with climate change issues. Salla locates here near the Russian border, and they produced a video, and the aim was that they would like to be the organizer of Summer Olympics 2032. And let's look at this video next.
Pappasen ruukas aina sanoa, että päivätär se tulee vielä takaisin. Ja sehän on se auringon jumalatar se.
En ole koskaan nähnyt aurinkoa, mutta kyllä se on sieltä tulossa.
Tiedemiehet on sanonut, että lämpötila vielä vain nousee. Tiedä häntä. En tiedä.
En tiedä, mutta minä ainakin otan aurinkoa.
Kais tuossa vuoressa niin jäät sulaa ja tässä on täydellinen järvi.
Tervetuloa Sallaan, Suomen kylmimpään paikkaan.
Me haluamme järjestää täällä kisat, vuoden 2032 kesäkisat.
Ja tuolla meillä tulee olemaan biitsikenttä.
Lämpö tulee!
Kiitos ilmastonmuutokselle, niin mä lumi tuolla, niin se tulee olemaan hiekkaasti silloin. Talvi tulee olemaan paljon lyhyempi.
Ei enää lumisia tuntureita, vain alamäkipyöräilyä.
Lämpötila nousee.
Eihän tätä malta odottaa enää. Sulaa nuo lumeet lopullisesti.
Ei enää liukkaita jäätiköitä. Kiitos ilmaston lämpenemistä.
Tänään meille tulee stadion. Warm heart, we have it.
Warm place, coming soon.
Mitä oot mieltä? Salla 2032. Ja se kuulostaa hyvältä.
Hey, you really want the games here?
Yeah, what do you think? Impressive, but still a little bit playful. That is my opinion.
When I first saw this kind of playful film in Salla, I was astonished by the sense of humor which was in this film visible. And I know that Scandinavians are perhaps not very well known from a sense of humor. Usually they are depicted as serious and, you know, not very playful. But at the same time, it's very humoristic and at the same time tragic. So, and I would like to first ask about this sisu concept, because I don't know if you know the Scandinavian. All nations, almost all nations, have some concept which is an expression of its soul. So, for instance, Swedes has logom. Swedes have logom, which is quite interesting concept, but we don't want to speak about logom now. So, for instance, Danish have hygge, which is about pleasure, about nice climate, and so on. So this is, and Finnish has sisu, which is very interesting concept because it's totally different from logom and totally different from hygge. And I would like to ask you about your research first about sisu, just in order to get interested in Finland and Finnish values. Can you describe it?
In fact, I haven't researched specifically what is sisu, but I have found out in my research that there is a role in sisu when you are doing things. If I explain how I understand what is sisu, it's something that you don't never give up. And I think that it's a very good way to think about learning and doing things, because my background is basically there is learning theories, and I feel that I'm mostly learning scientist. So I think that when you don't give up, you need to have a kind of inspiration, and you are engaged in something what you are doing. And it doesn't matter if you make mistakes or you fall down. Now we can compare this also to digital games, for example. It's not the end of the world if you die sometimes, but you can still continue and learn and go on. But I can show you one, this picture or a slide tells about this research I mentioned, and this was a 3 days hiking trip with 8th grade students and their teachers, and I interviewed the teachers and the students during this trip. And one result was that resilience, that it was very hard trip to that you have all of those stuff with you, maybe 20, 30 kilos. 20, 30 kilos on your back. Yes, and we walked 35 kilometers and overnight in tents.
Girls and boys.
Yeah. Yes. And when I interviewed those, they said that it was awful, it was too hard, it was very everything negative. But still they said that this was the best in their life. And this is something that is sisu and learning at the best, I think.
Thank you for explanation. I started with sisu because I think this was quite interesting in this movie, which is about Save Salla, that, you know, you want cold weather in Lapland, in spite of the fact that people usually don't like cold weather, right? I mean, that's you know, many people in Poland, for instance, say something about global warming. That's fine. I mean, we will have Barcelona climate here. That's great, right? But nobody imagine what happens in Lapland at that time when we are having Barcelona climate. So that's why I think it's interesting that Finnish people in this particular movie represent something which is sisu, I think. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree, and I also see in the video something that is very typical in Lapland specifically, that we have always had quite hard life, maybe there, very cold and so on, that we have learned to use sisu, but still humor.
Yes. Yeah. I was once in Helsinki in December, and that was minus 15, and I went outside of the house, and I spent 10 minutes in this Helsinki climate, which is quite cold, but at the same time it's very high percentage of water in the air. So it was unbearable. More than 10 minutes, I was really frozen in that.
Yeah, I understand that, and that's why I always say that you need to come to Lapland, because there we don't have this problem at all. The
humidity is less visible. Yeah.
Yes, and if we have, for example, minus 30, it's not so much because the air is dry, and we don't have that much wind, and and maybe we have used to use clothes.
Yes. There is one Finnish saying or Scandinavian saying that there is no bad weather, it's just bad clothes you have, right? So it's some kind of approach which is quite good. But I wonder, because I know you were born in Göteborg in Sweden, but then you live almost whole life in Levi and in Rovaniemi. No, in Lapland. In Lapland. Yeah, generally speaking, Lapland. So moving from place, but
yeah. I was born in Sweden, but I was one when we moved back to Finland. My parents are Finnish, and they are from Lapland. So the Lapland as a whole area is my home. So I think, and Levi is only the place we have been living with my family about 15 years now. And when I seriously speaking, I previously thought that nobody could live in a ski resort, but now I am a good example that you can live there, basically. In fact, and there is living about maybe 2,000-3,000 of people. But when we have season, tourism season, there might be 30,000.
Mm-hmm. Another question I have relates to Greta Thunberg, because I was quite interested in her claim that planet is on fire, and she was really impressed by 2018 fires in Sweden, and the fires were also visible in the northern part of Sweden, which is more or less Lapland. But you haven't noticed this in 2018 in Finnish Lapland, no?
Not that much.
Not that much.
Yeah, and I in fact I don't know why we don't have that much.
Yes. But it's interesting phenomenon, because it was shock for Swedes, and I remember that Polish fire brands were there, and Finnish as well helped Swedes to deal with these fires in the woods, especially, but not just in the woods. So I was just wondering if this is not exaggeration that planet is on fire. What do you think about it? Because I know, for instance, that there are some difficult issues relating to Lapland. For instance, I'm almost 100% vegetarian, but I went once in Lapland, and some local people explained to me that most of the food, which is not meat, come from south. And, you know, if you want protein in Lapland, finally, if you want local things, you eat reindeer. Yes?
Yes. Yeah.
So
and fish.
And fish.
Yeah.
Are there any other difficult issues related to Lapland, especially? Because, for instance, communication might be also the problem, no? Vehicles.
Problematic issues, what becomes to what we eat and food.
What we eat or how we drive in Lapland. Drive, or yeah.
Too many questions.
Too many questions. Okay, first, what to eat in Lapland? Yes.
No,
what to eat?
Of course, we. How can I say it? What is that you herb? Vegetables and potatoes
yes,
and everything.
Yes.
And we have a specific potato, in fact, that only loves to be in Lapland in summertime because we have the light there all the time. And this potato,
these plants grow.
Yes, it needs that much light. And of course we have fish and we have very fresh berries. The forests are full of berries. And they are safe.
Morożka in Polish, this is berry which is white, right? White berry.
Aha, okay. I don't know what is white.
No, perhaps not white.
Blue and red, and then we have cloudberries that are...
Cloudberries, yes. This is morożka in Polish.
Aha,
yeah.
okay. Morożka.
Cloudberries.
Yeah. And and our parents, their fridges have been full of berries.
Do you have mushrooms?
Yes. Yes, we have mushrooms. So I think that we can survive there anyway, without that so much food comes from south.
Yeah. Okay. And what about driving in Lapland?
We have long distances. Of course, my distance from my home to work is 170 kilometers, and it took 2 hours to drive there, and that's why I don't trust electric cars yet.
Yet.
Because I don't want to be by myself there on the road in the middle of nowhere with my broken car. So I trust diesel.
Yes, that's why I asked, because we talked before about it, and I was interested in this problem because not everything fits all, right? I mean, that's the problem, which is one of the issues in ecology, that you need to think about locality, and you need to think about local peculiarities sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. And specifically this winter we had quite cold weeks in Lapland, -30, -40 even. So it would be awful because we saw how many electricity cars stuck there on the road.
So that was experience from this year?
Yes, this year.
Yeah, that's interesting, and it's evidence from your personal experience. I think it's difficult issues. They are difficult issues for climate activists, especially because when you listen to Greta Thunberg, which I love to listen to. I mean, she's very courageous and she's very strong. I remember one mural in Stockholm representing her as Pippi Longstrump, which is Pippi Pończoszanka in Polish, right? So she's a strong girl, and I think she has sisu, no?
Yeah, and I have thought lot about this, and of course, especially from the viewpoint of playfulness. And in fact, I didn't define to you how I see what is playfulness. And of course, it's based on research and others' research as well. And it's something that you have an open mindset, and you can be cognitively playful, you can be socially playful. And it's something that you use your imagination and your creativity, how to solve the problems, and you go further, and you want to, because I see something that is not so good if we think about Greta Thunberg. Example, of course, the issue is very, very important, but we cannot give up, and we need all of our playful and creativity, playfulness and creativity to solve this problem together. And because some learning theorists who have written about play and its importance in our life is a guy from California, Stuart Brown, and he has said that the opposite of play is not work, but it's depression. So we cannot be depressive against the serious issues.
Yes, that's interesting question. You know, if you are not playful in this climate crisis, you might be depressed. So that's something interesting, because I was interested in Greta Thunberg rhetoric. Yes?
It's about giving them up, or we are so strong.
I will address the public after we finish, okay? If you allow me, please, because some technical issues related to it. So I would like to say something about this because I was interested in Greta Thunberg and rhetoric of the apocalyptic. So she is referring to planet on fire. So this is kind of apocalyptic discourse. And it might be that for some people, such apocalyptic imagination might be depressive. And I think if we want to do something, this playful mindset is really some kind of resolve for us. It's resolving problems. And what you mentioned once when we talked about playfulness, that's very interesting also in the environment, because in playfulness, you are not alone. Even this open mind means that you accompany environment. It doesn't matter if it's another person or another people. It might be tree, as you represented in one of the slides. It might be water. It might be snow. But you know, playing with environment means you are embodied and immersed with it. Do you agree on this?
Yeah, I agree with you, yes. And I'm thinking also that sometimes maybe people think that, okay, I need to think about how I play or something, but I think that it's inside in ourselves anyway. And if you think about how child are learning and doing things, it's about playing. They are curious about everything and exciting, and using their creativity and asking stupid questions and everything. But something pushed us, we adults are some way not so allowed to be what we are as a human being. And it's not abnormal, it's very normal for me. And of course, because I am an ambassador of play and playfulness, and we have to see it and use it more in our workplaces and everywhere. Yeah, but now this was more what you were saying. But anyway, we can play. The playmate can be technology, AI, and other people, or yeah.
Yeah, especially artificial intelligence is very important here because we have artificial intelligence everywhere now. So every child almost now will have access to artificial intelligence, at least chat or something like that. But in a moment, there will be robots using this and perhaps a fridge with which we should communicate and so on. But is there, talking about technology, do you think that all these companies which invest a lot of money in building, farms of computers in the Arctic to calm down the computers, is it a danger for Arctic?
Now I cannot say.
You cannot answer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I cannot answer.
Okay.
Or then I didn't understand.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Because there is ongoing discussion in digital culture scientists, because some would claim if it's book in paper, it's against nature because we have e-books now and it's better. But actually the energy put into the e-books and computers who sustain e-books in the cloud.
Yeah, of course, it's very difficult thing, yeah. And combination, yeah. But now I started to think, when you mentioned technology, that of course, and if we think about climate change issues and that how important is this, that we can promote our children's digital literacies, and how they can be more, and we can be more critical what we read from media. So fake news and everything, and this is the biggest problem and challenge, I think.
Yeah. I know that Finnish are very good at teaching this problem. You don't have particular classes just for that, but in every classes you include this problem with critical thinking and asking questions and so on. So that's very important as well.
And we call it media education.
Media education, in spite of the fact that it is not separate subject, right? I mean, it's not separate class about media education.
No, but more and more we have combined. For example, we don't call anymore that we need to teach writing and writing and reading, but we need new literacies, so we need media literacies skills as well, and they all are one package.
But do you think in Lapland especially that digital communication is much more demanding, or do you think it's easier for some people nowadays when there is internet everywhere, and what is the situation in Lapland?
I think that we have a good situation what becomes to Wi-Fi and and of course we need to educate not only children but also older people how to use different applications, and we call it that it's media education for all ages as well, if you mean that. but technologically, I think that we have quite good situation there in Lapland.
But coming to the embodiment, for instance, your students work in the fields very often, and they use their bodies to move around. But what about these virtual classes and meeting on Teams or Zoom or in distant education? Is it a problem in Lapland?
No, technically
no.
Yeah, and I think that both are needed, and for me it's very very good that I can teach online, but I can teach face-to-face and lecturing, and also for our students, because they mostly live around in Finland, not only in Rovaniemi today. And thanks to COVID, that we have now this situation, that every time you don't need to move somewhere.
Yeah, it's a particular situation in which your country is quite long, right? And the distance is really huge. So it's all right. I will ask perhaps the last question, and then asking public to ask perhaps for other problems. I would like to say something about again this SISU and depression, because actually this sustainability with SISU is against depressive mood and against not doing something, right? Is it correct?
As I mentioned, that it's you don't give up.
Yes.
Yeah, you go further, and you have motivation, and hopefully intrinsic motivation to go on. That is, yeah.
Intrinsic motivation, but can I ask you about another question? If it's intrinsic motivation, it's intuitive, so it's against learning strategies, is it?
No.
No.
No, I don't see any. It's against.
You learn strategies and then go with intuition.
Now I cannot maybe understand what do you mean.
Okay.
But if I feel so, or think so, that when you are learning at best, you know your direction and you have some kind of goals, even though some of them can be intuitive goals. But strategic learning needs specific goals to go on.
Okay, so we should bear in mind the main goal of saving the planet and saving Salla, but at the same time we have to be immersed in the environment. Is it all right?
Immersed.
Immersed, I mean inside.
Inside.
With intuition.
This intuition thing is very interesting, but I don't know enough intuition research, because I haven't done it, but I'm very interested in that. What is the relationship between intuition and playful mindset? Because I think that in both cases you are open and you are at present.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's more philosophical question. Sorry for asking this, but that we touched a lot of practical questions, and now thank you once more. We can clap, I think, thanking Marjaana.
Thank you.